everyone, and welcome back to Rerouted. How did you get here? As always, I'm Amanda Griffin, director of an alternative education school here in Lancaster. And today I'm really excited about sharing a story of one of our parents that sends their student to our school this year. And I think her story is very motivational and offers a great insight into how families feel about sending their students to an alternative school, just the pressure we feel as parents overall, and sometimes the lack or the inability to talk about those concerns for our students with other people. I look forward to sharing Kim's story with you. So, can you introduce yourself and let everyone know how you and I met?
Sure. My name's Kim, and my son Alex goes to school there. At his previous school, he was having a little bit of issues with getting into school, so they talked to us about a couple of different options that we had, and this was one of the options.
I thought it was interesting when we're talking. You have two kids,
Yes.
and your older daughter did not have a concern in high school.
She did have issues in high school, and this was never brought up for her at all. She was going during COVID.
Gotcha.
So when she switched up here, she went to a school district from kindergarten till 8th grade. So when she switched up here at 9th grade, she went for a couple months, and then COVID hit. So then she was at home for, I want to say, 2 years.
The majority of
The majority
time.
of 9th and 10th, and then went in person 11th, and then switched back to her prior school.
At what point for you was it that you saw in Alex traditional school wasn't working and you were like, what are we going to do?
So he went to school K through 8 at his other school. Or K through 9. He came up here 10th, decided he wanted to do online classes.
Yeah.
Which did not go well for him at all because
Yeah.
he's a hands-on person. He's not a work by yourself kind of person. And so we did that for 10th grade, and it went horribly. So then he went in person, and that wasn't great either for him.
When he went in person, did he start in the middle of the year?
Yes, he did. I believe it was after Thanksgiving break.
Okay.
So everybody had already got into a routine, and then he came in end of November.
He was a small fish.
Yeah.
He just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those transitions are really hard for a traditional school.
Especially that age.
Right.
Yeah.
And where he's coming from and the school he's in, like, we teach the same curriculum, but that doesn't mean that they're on the same page. So
Right.
like if they mix that, then it's very difficult for them to catch up.
Right.
So he at that point knew that was last year, right?
Yes.
Knew that wasn't going to work for him.
Right.
And then the school offered the non-traditional way for you.
Yeah, they were giving me options, and online was not an option for him, but there was like an in-person at the school, like you could be put into one single room and work by yourself on a computer, which I feel like was online in the school.
Yeah, just a different than like maybe working from home.
Yeah, it was
for
like
him.
a different setting, and that setting was not working for him at all. I just can't see for 8 or 9 hours a day sitting in one classroom on your computer, and that's where he would eat lunch and just everything, not leave there. I just knew that we tried the online at home, and so I didn't think it was going to be any different for him.
Right, the at-home learning for like my kids were in school during COVID, and that was really hard for me as a mom because you're working.
Right. Out of the house. Yeah.
You're working out of the house, and then COVID happened, and we're all basically like homeschooling our kids with curriculum given by the districts. But like, I'm a teacher, and that was really difficult for me. Teaching your own kid is way different than them going to school and learning from someone else.
Well, and being out of school for 30 plus years, and then I need help with this subject. I have not done this subject for a long time.
Right.
So.
What grade was he in during COVID? He was in middle school.
He was in middle school.
So I'm sure that there were concepts that you're like, I don't use that every day.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Yeah.
And a lot of the classes during COVID were not all like, he wasn't logged in all the time or watched all the time. It was, you need to log in by this time and you need to
Yeah.
have this done. And some of them were, but
High schoolers struggle with routine like that. There's no backup
right,
from, I mean, it's hard for you to do the backup. You're at work.
right.
And it's hard for the teacher to do anything because they're not there. So
Or they're on the screen watching 30 kids from home.
yeah,
So.
yeah, that was always very interesting on like seeing into different kids' worlds of what it looks like.
Yeah.
So he came to us, and he's been doing phenomenal. Like he enjoys coming. You said
Loves coming.
What do those conversations at home look like when he's talking about our school?
It's night and day. From when he was going to school, it was a daily struggle to get him up. It
Yeah.
was, I don't feel good. I don't want to go to school. I can't do this today. And now he sets his alarm. He gets up by himself. He's ready to go to school.
Yeah.
He texts me on his break because he doesn't have his phone during the day. But on his break, he'll text me and say, I'm having a great day. And
Oh,
it's
good.
the things that he does at home now, extra, it's night and day for me.
He has a little more freedom too because we're not that traditional school of the 7 to 3. He
Right.
has a little bit more breathing room.
Yes.
So that's cool.
And he loves that.
Yeah. Right. And
His time.
I think it's important for our kids to know, and they learn in our program, that if they don't do well with an 8 to 3 job, they don't have to do that.
Right.
A lot of our, like in this building or wherever they get a job, some kids will work night shift because that works better for their sleep schedule. Other kids, will work from home and that will work for them. But it's not traditional anymore that like you have to go into your job from 9 to 5.
Right.
So I like that we give them that offer. I had you on the show because I think that the parent perspective is not talked about as much when we're talking about these kids that are not traditional in the sense that they get up, they go to school, they come home,
Right.
and that's just life. When you have a kid at home, and Alex is such a sweetheart, I can't imagine him fighting you per se, but I know some of the kids, like in episode 1, Olivia talked about like they had to call the police because she's like, I'm not going.
Right.
That pressure for you, who's trying to have a full-time job, provide for your family, what was that like? And that pressure of how do you feel about your child in that sense of like what is happening?
It was so frustrating because, the fight to get up in the morning, I had to wake him up several times. He just would not get up. He did not feel good. He didn't want to go in. And then after I got him into school, then it was like, okay, when is the phone calls going to start? Come get me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here.
And I'm sure you hated hearing from your phone at that point.
Yeah.
You're just
When I see the
stressed.
phone, it's like, who's calling?
Right.
Yeah, and it makes you feel bad as a parent sending them into a situation like that where they don't feel comfortable.
Right. Did you feel like when you're saying I'm struggling as a parent to get my kid here and I'm trying, did you feel support in that? Or like, is that hard for you to, I feel like some parents are just scared to say that because like, we're the parents, we're supposed to be able to get them there.
Right. No, I was emailing, I was calling, I was going in, I was doing everything that I felt like I could do for him, and I was getting super frustrated because I don't feel like there was follow-up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and after COVID, I think as a school, it gets very difficult because so many kids are in the same place.
Right.
The mental health, the just struggle that to see why schools have to be built the way they are anymore. Kids like they don't get it.
Right.
And I can't blame them for that. Like
Right.
it's true. Like it doesn't have to be that way. But when you're trying to educate 1,000 students or 1,100 students, the follow-up does become difficult.
Right.
I'm not saying that's right. It's just hard.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of things that are overlooked and a lot of kids that are overlooked because there's so many kids.
Right.
And I think like one person with 30 kids,
Mm-hmm. Right.
there's a lot of kids that just slip through.
Not that it's right.
Right.
But it becomes easier to pay attention to the student who is the squeaky wheel if they are a behavior problem.
Right.
Or if, they're showing all these signs. Where Alex, I don't think typically does. He just kind of,
He goes with the flow.
yeah,
He's
he
quiet.
just kind of flies under the radar.
So yeah, he did not get. I don't think he got the attention that he needed.
I deal a lot with my own kids because my son is typical to Alex of traditional school is not his favorite place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel a shame as a mom of like the pressure of other people and the expectation for me sometimes is so heavy of like my kid is supposed to be like this and if they don't fit that people judge me.
Yeah, I did a couple years ago feel like that. I feel more like you now. Every single kid is different. Like I told you, my daughter and son are night and day. Their learning process, their social skills, everything is different about every kid. So
Yeah.
I don't worry about what other people say.
And I think it's made me focus on like my kid's a good kid.
Right.
Your kid is such a good kid.
Yeah.
He's so kind. He'll come in and talk to us old people about shoes because he always has these cool shoes on.
He does.
And like bless his heart because we talk to him about it and I don't think he thinks we know fashion. It's okay, but like he talks to us just like humans and is a great student. Just that if you looked at him, and I say this all the time, if we just looked at kids by his transcript or if we just looked at kids by how they tested,
right,
I don't think people would see that in him.
Right.
And that's where I want us to kind of venture out and like we all know standard tests don't work
Right.
and they don't really show who Alex is
Mhm.
because he is such a cool kid outside of
Yeah.
tests or attendance or grades. And those are just things that we have to uphold but don't really have a weight to them. We talked about your sister-in-law knows and your family knows that Alex goes to a non-traditional school.
Correct.
When you tell people that, what is their typical response?
Lately, a lot of people have been saying, how do I get in contact or how do we find out about this? Or it's been nothing but good and questioning and
Because I'm guessing that they see a change in him as
Right.
well,
right.
that he
And
wants to go.
if I'm being honest, I never heard of the place before and it upsets me that more people don't know about it. It really does.
Yeah, it's a secret, but for niche kids like Alex, it does wonders.
Mhm.
So we're working on getting that out more because it is important,
Mhm.
and these kids do so well when they're there.
Right.
And the sending school that you have is so kind, and they understand that like if there's a limit where they don't feel like they can support their kid anymore, we're the option, and that's great. When you tell people he goes to an alternative ed, do you think people have like a mindset that he is a behavior problem or anything like that?
I don't think so because most of the people that I talk to know our situation and know that he moved up here from a school that he had a lot of friends and was there for a long time and moved into a different school where it was, I kind of want to say more cliquey. Like you said, he walked in the middle of the year. So he struggled with that a lot and the people that I talk to know that he did. So I don't think that anybody really thinks that it's behavioral, really.
I'm trying to change that mindset. When you talk to Alex, you don't believe that he has a idea that he's embarrassed to go here.
Absolutely not.
You think he would promote it? It would
Yeah.
be,
He actually said to me, when I graduate, can I please graduate from where I am and
Oh,
not
so cool.
from where I came from. Yeah.
And our kids, I love our graduations because the kids from the sending schools get to wear their color if they want to from their districts. So when you see all our kids, it's like a rainbow. It's
Okay.
not everyone is the same.
Right.
They're all different.
Right.
And I think that's a really cool representation of that. So
And that's exactly like the school. It's not like he's herd of sheep, He's different. There's different kids he goes with.
So if you were talking to a parent of another student like Alex, what would you say to them?
I would just ask him about the struggles that they have with them. Is it worth fighting every single day for them to go where they are? And I just think this is a really good opportunity for him.
Unfortunately, you work a lot, and I work a lot. And when we have these struggles with our kids, I don't think we get enough time as moms or parents to like talk about it.
Right.
Like, or it's this sense of like Facebook is everything or Instagram's everything, and that is what it's like. But the real struggles of getting your kid up every morning.
Yeah.
And you waking up and being like, I know I'm going to fight with him for
Every day.
45 minutes
Every day.
to get him to go. And that's hard.
It
But we
is.
don't really get anyone to talk to
Yeah.
about that.
No.
Ever.
No.
So I like to know that like other people feel that way.
Yeah.
And your kid will graduate.
Yes.
Regardless of his struggles, he'll get there.
Yep.
Like he's going to be successful.
Absolutely. If he keeps on pace, he could even graduate then before what he should have.
I hope he's excited for that.
He is.
That's awesome. When he joined the district, he moved between 2 districts before he came to us. And that's actually not atypical. A lot of our students have seen 3 districts or 4 districts.
Wow.
I have one student who has bounced around between 6.
That's
so like
wonderful.
I just call it like the tour of Lancaster. She's just done every district she could. So that's not abnormal. But when he moved into this district, he had a hard time making friends. I can't remember. Did you think it was bullying or no?
I don't really know if it was bullying more so than just walking into a place where pretty much everybody has gone there since kindergarten. So he walked in not knowing anybody, and then like lunchtime he would sit by himself every single day, and he would text me from lunch, and I'm sitting there like, you're breaking my heart.
Right, because
So-
you're not going to go in. He certainly doesn't want to
Yeah.
sit with mom at lunch.
No. And then I would say something, you know, they would have somebody meet him or walk with him or eat lunch with him, and that never happened. Or get him off the bus or get him on the bus, and he's calling me the bus left, and
Oh.
I can't get on the bus, I need a ride. And I just feel like it was more so just, here you go.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Sink or swim.
did you notice anything with him? Because I think one thing I haven't talked about a lot is this role that social media does play. Did you see social media playing any kind of hand in how he felt about school? Or like, I worry about our students because we don't get to see what they say all the time.
Right.
Snapchat is the literal devil
Oh,
of
yeah.
school.
I know.
Like it is beyond frustrating. But you didn't see any issues with that. Like he didn't have any friends that were unkind on Snapchat or anything like that.
No, I mean, I think that there was probably a couple comments made here and there just walking through, and like I said, like not knowing anybody and sitting by himself and eating, but I don't think there was anything like posted negative or anything like that.
Do you think his experience would have been different if he was a female? Of changing schools?
I really just think it's in his personality more so than a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
He's very comfortable with you after he gets to know you for a while.
Yeah, he is.
But he's in a shell, I think, more so. So I really don't know if it's a boy-girl thing or if it's just a personality.
Individual student.
Yeah.
If you could take a magic wand to the public ed, that really hasn't changed since we industrialized it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you change from a parent's point of view?
Where he is now or where he went?
Like traditional public school, what would you change about that?
I think they need to have either more hands-on with the kids or smaller groups of kids. I don't know, I just feel like a lot of kids are just doing what they have to do. I don't think anybody's pushing to do more than what they need to do, and I don't think anybody's pushing them to do it, really.
Was there anything that the school could have done better for you as a parent who is struggling to get their kid, doing everything they can
Right.
to like...
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the things that I brought up were not followed through with.
Right. Anything else you want to cover or you think is important to talk about for families that are listening or kids that are listening about like the opportunity to take an alternative education route if they might be apprehensive of like it looks bad or anything like that?
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity for Alex. Really glad that I heard about it. Like you said, not send everybody there, but there is people that it benefits to go to,
Right.
instead of just passing them through to go to the next round.
Yeah.
You know, because then when you get to the next round, you're already behind from before, and there's
you
no
can't
catch.
get caught
There's
up.
no catching up. So
What do you hope for Alex in the next 5 years?
I want him to graduate from school. I want him to either go to a 2-year tech school or get a job that he really likes.
Yeah.
And I think he's on pace for that right now.
So do I.
I was worried before where he was going to be in 5 years, but just waking up every morning with the attitude that he has now, it's so nice.
Well, thanks for sharing your input. I think, again, I don't think we hear enough from the parents' point of view of how hard traditional school can be and how it is just difficult for us to make it work, and that there are other options for their kids.
That aren't bad.
It's
a good thing.
They're not bad. Yeah, we get to work with really great kids.
Good.
Sure.